All right, let's get to business. We got to talk a little Michigan Wolverines football. And, David, how do I set this up? Because I don't want to take your joy. But obviously, Jim Harbaugh was asked about, in fairness, he was asked about his contract. You have a quote you're going to read, and then you had a reaction to it. This isn't about ambushing David or setting him up. David is his own man. He has to say what he has to say. Now, Rico has no clue what David's going to say, and he has no clue what I'm going to say. And we're going to approach it this way. Now, Rico may choose to hit the portal. He may just be like, I don't want no part of this mess. But, David, what was Harbaugh's quote about the contract? And then I want you to tell the people what you told me.
Yeah, he was asked about his quote. Like anybody, and I've said this, you want to be somewhere you're wanted. Like they like what you do and how you do it. Wow, I can't read. Then they tell you that. Your bosses tell you that.
Tech, everybody.
And that gets reflected in the contract. Any of us, right? We want to be somewhere that likes how you do it and what you do. And, all this contract talk's been talked about for 3.5 years. He's also quoted as saying that it's been a 3.5-year process. Okay, wonderful. They like you. You like them. Then as a fan, I'm resigned to the fact, okay, cool. Give him a lifetime contract. I understand now. Michigan doesn't care about national championships. They're never going to get one. So just sign you to a lifetime contract. I'll never get one. I'll be okay with that. But you're there, and I don't have to hear the NFL talk every year. We just win the Big Ten and keep going.
Here's your problem. You can win one this year. In fact, I said there's only one team you couldn't beat. They just lost this past week. You may not even have to face Texas. David, right here, right now, I know Michigan is the great mystery to a lot of people. But Rico and I have tried to tell you the last 2 weeks, who you play and how you play are separate. I don't get to control the who you play. But how you play and how you've played against Nebraska and played against Minnesota, that's what great teams do. And Georgia's having a problem stopping the run. What do well? Run the football. And as good as I think Georgia's passing game looks, let's be fair about something. Michigan goes into these games, and if they can run the ball, they're very difficult to beat. They control the TOP. They shorten the game. The new clock rules. I told you no team outside of a service academy would benefit more than you. David, I don't think you have to be resigned to not winning a title, but you have to do it this year. This really is, I think, the end of a cycle. Like, it's very hard to do what Bama does or Clemson does, or for a time, I couldn't say Ohio State because they only won, one title every 12 years. But overall, like with Michigan the last 3 years, winning the Big Ten, going to the playoff, this is kind of the end. After this, McCarthy, gone. Your running back's gone. Zinter, gone. It's cyclical, and it's now. So, David, I really feel like you don't have to accept not winning one. I think you need to just say, Jim Harbaugh is a lot of things I like, and he's a lot of things I don't like. But he's the best we're ever going to get, and he's here. I don't understand anything other than just signing him. Now, the NFL stuff I don't control. Do I think the Charger job will be open and appealing? Yes. Yeah. Do I think the Bear job will be open and appealing? The Vegas job? Yes. But you sign him to a lifetime deal with a fat buyout and you call it a day, right? But don't you believe you have a chance to win the national title this year?
Of course. It's always been championship.
No. Do you believe in your heart, the way you believe about the burning bush and stuff, do you believe you can win the whole thing?
No, I don't.
Wow.
No, I don't. It's a wide open year. I just don't see it from this team.
So it takes a slimeball Sparty to believe, and you don't believe. I believe Michigan can win this whole thing. Yes. It is an open year in college football. I'm not telling you they're favored over Georgia. No. I'm saying Kenny knows his Georgia team isn't what they were the last 2 years. Now, they're turning it on the same way you're turning it on. But until or unless I see Georgia able to run it and stop the run, I think that's a problem when you play Michigan. The last 2 years, Georgia hammered you in the face, and then they didn't give you an inch when you ran the ball. So look, I'd love to know from Michigan fans right here. Do you believe you can win the whole thing right now? We don't need to talk about rankings. We don't need to talk about schedule. Do you believe? Because David's ready to give Harbaugh a lifetime deal, but he doesn't even believe you can win it. I think you can win it, but it's got to be right now.
See, I think, as you would like to say, both can be correct. I think that they are built right here, right now for this team. I look at the future. I don't really see where they're building for the next few years and bringing in this guy to replace JJ. Kind of looks like we're going to win this thing and then we're all walking into the sunset and be done. Davis is simply saying, you know what? I'm sick of the NFL stuff. I'm sick of all of this. Just be our coach. I don't want to have to go through every January. You're eating a sad burger in Minnesota. Oh, you're out here eating sad sushi in San Diego or wherever. I just want you to be our coach.
Sad sushi in San Diego. Okay.
So I just think that I get where he's coming from. Do I think they can win? Yeah, I do. I think that they are probably one of 4 teams.
Texas,
it's
Georgia,
all depending on
Michigan
matchups.
Well, sure. I don't think there's one of these towering teams. It's right there for them.
No, this isn't like in previous years where it was Bama or it was Georgia
Rico,
and it was everybody else.
Basically, a month from today, we're going to know how real they are because they're going to go to Happy Valley. And I still would expect them to win. But I feel like this is their best, last, only chance to do it.
And they need that. They need the Happy Valley game because you're doing it on the road, and it's going to be a whiteout. You're going to have a packed house there. It would quiet all the naysayers because this is what you finally did it. You played somebody on the road, and you got the job done. So you do that, and I think that you've now elevated yourself to probably one of 3 teams that can win it all. Just depends on who plays who in the semifinals.
You give them a lifetime deal?
Would I give him a lifetime deal?
No, the other guy I host the show with.
No, I'm just asking.
I know, I'm busting your balls. I know. Would you give Harbaugh a lifetime deal right now? You're Santa Ono.
I would, but I don't think Harbaugh would honor it. But yes, because I think that if you're Michigan, there's never another. Who's going to be the coach? It's like Phil Jackson when he left the Bulls. There was never going to be anybody else that would fill those shoes ever again. This is your guy. He came home. He was Project Unicorn. He should be the guy for the next 10 years.
10 years, too, by the way. Oh. I mean, he's been here almost 10 years.
Yeah.
What is this, year 8, year 9?
And you probably give him another 10 years until he's ready to retire.
The point is, with the contract stuff happening again, which I don't understand how it happens. I don't understand how it's every year.
Because they allow him to walk out there. And you've heard it said, well, everybody's allowed to be happy. So they're letting him go out and date other people.
Would you accept all of it? Would you sign him to the lifetime deal?
But you can't do any interviews. None.
I'll let you negotiate that. I'm making a point. I think if you're David, I think you're wrong to not believe you could win the whole thing.
Okay, so if Michigan's going against a weak secondary, can JJ take advantage? Because I don't think he can. I don't think he can, and that's the problem that I have. I'm not worried about the rest of the Big Ten. I'm worried about the other teams you may face.
So you still have PTSD from TCU,
the Georgia. Yes, I do.
That's what it is.
Do. What?
He's got PTSD from TCU.
He should.
It was right there.
That was a free square. That was a, David, you know what? You're in the national title game against Georgia or Ohio State.
They actually say, you know what? TCU saved you.
That's possible.
Because you didn't want any part of going into that game against Georgia.
And
not any part of it.
And I understand that. I just wanted the next step. You made it one year. Make it to the championship game now.
Barring the, I don't know, ifs and buts. Harrison doesn't get hurt, you would have had a rematch with Ohio State. They were built to beat Ohio State. You could have had your title last year if Harrison doesn't get hurt.
He makes a great point, David.
That's very fair.
Damn shame you lost to TCU. Just hate to see
And here we go.
You just what? That didn't feel sincere?
No, I didn't feel the sincerity. No.
248-539-9797. Why is it that old Gruff Sparty over here has got to be the one to tell you can do this? I mean, David, yeah, sure, you're a mystery. I guess a month from now you could go to Happy Valley, get de-pantsed, and we all feel stupid for believing it. But it's never been a question about Michigan being a good team or being very good. It's about, do they possess the greatness to get a national title done? And I happen to believe, and it's not about devaluing you. I don't know that any team in America is great this year. So why can't you do it?
Because there's no one team, it's going to be that team that beats Michigan.
What do you mean?
It's going to be a team that you don't think is that great that's going to come out and beat Michigan in the playoffs.
That PTSD is
man, oh man. I got to tell you, I thought you were more than this.
You know what David sounds like right now?
You 2 years ago?
No, worse. He sounds like a Lions fan. Oh, we're just waiting on the next SOL moment. That's what David sounds like right now. Do you hear it?
Kenny for the win.
Yeah, I like that. This guy believes that some dude turned a loaf of bread into a village of food, but he can't believe in his football team. What a disgrace. Water into wine, that passes the test. Michigan winning it all doesn't.
You got to keep the party going.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, Michigan can't keep the party going. Exactly.
He's still upset over TCU. That's all it boils down to.
They can do this, Dave.
He was disappointed because then TCU goes out and gets embarrassed by Georgia, and that's what hurt even more.
248-539-9797.